with a play from Lincoln movie, which are perfect.
Yeah.
One of the passengers, I connected with my assistant. This went on. I was headed to New York, but it was kind of a musical.
Yeah.
And I was 300 pounds. I didn't know how good I could move.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have to dance a lot. It was like one or two scenes I had.
Yeah.
But they told me the rehearsal was good.
Yeah.
And it was that in the winter. Like I was doing all this in February in New York. I know New York in February.
It's a fucking
Snow,
brutal wasteland.
and now I see it. I love it. Right now, as we speak, I'm working on a one-man show.
Mm-hmm.
I've always loved that.
Yeah. That's great.
That's what I always.
Where are you going to do it? Do you know?
Right now, I'm just working on it.
Right.
3 more fucking workouts left.
Okay.
Before I even put 2 hours together.
Yeah.
It had to be 2 hours or less.
Right.
And then my hope would be to put it somewhere in town, somewhere cute, maybe a 99-seater.
Yeah.
Like three-week run.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
cut it, and then take it to off Broadway.
Off.
Off Broadway.
Yeah. Take it to off Broadway.
Take it to off Broadway. Again.
Yeah.
3 or 4 week run. Add some final adjustments. Find a good director.
Right.
I would give this a shot.
Hell yeah. Yeah.
I really know what scenes I want, what settings I want to sell.
Yeah.
I want a thing with a microphone.
Yeah.
And I just want like a street corner.
Yeah.
Those are the 3 settings. And I would just shine a light
Yeah.
in each area that can go back and forth in between settings.
Yeah. Because you got to, I mean, it's about your life, I'm assuming. Yeah.
It's about just
Yeah.
the fucking hustle of life.
Yeah.
You know, how I even, look at how the fuck did we stumble upon this crazy
Right.
art?
Right.
How the fuck did we stumble?
I always feel like there has to be a lot of, not that I regret anything I've ever done, but there's got to be a lot of mistakes to get you into comedy. You have to make a lot of fucked up shit that has to happen. Something is off, with comics that I've noticed in a beautiful way. Like I trust a comic. If I meet somebody across, if I'm overseas and I meet somebody and they're a comic, there's something automatically that there's an ease. I can communicate shit to them that I wouldn't say to anybody else. It's like meeting another drug addict or like another alcoholic or something. There's something there. Like we've been through it together, even if I've never met them before.
I feel the same way sometimes. It's I've always known when a person wants to think of what we do. Like this whole thing started with me when somebody brought up the joke.
Yeah.
It all started with that whole joke.
Yeah.
The joke.
Yeah.
And I thought about fucking the early years of comedy and career.
Yeah.
And I thought,
no.
It's an abusive relationship.
Right.
It's a one-way relationship.
Yeah.
It's just abusive. And what you were involved in an abusive relationship, what does it take to say that's it?
Yeah.
So there's 4 or 5 years, 3 years for some people. They stumble along. They just stumble along. And then when they get it, they catch on. Regrets. What? For some people, it takes 11 months. For some people, it takes 5 or 6 years.
Yeah.
For me, it took 3.5 years to finally go. This is what needs to be done.
Right.
This is how it needs to be.
And how old were you when you started?
I first got on stage, I was 28 years old.
Yeah, so you were older too.
I was old. I was 28 when I first got on stage. It took me a good, honest 14 months of procrastination.
Yeah.
14 months of procrastination.
Yeah. Before you got on again?
No. Like, no, I'm going to become a stand-up.
Oh, yeah.
I'd set up an open mic at 6 o'clock.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, this just went on.
Yeah.
It's fucking,
Yeah. I cried the first time before I went and did my first mic. I cried outside and was like, called up a friend who was a stand-up and I was like, I can't do it. He was like, all right, don't do it. And I was like, but then I'll never do it. I almost wanted him to talk me into it, and then I realized he wasn't going to, and I was like, oh, I just want to do this. I'll just shut up and go inside. But like, yeah, it's hard. That first,
The realizations.
yeah,
That it's, you know, and for me now, like with this one man show, what the final message is I'm trying to bring is that I didn't become a comic. Comedy made me a man. It really made me a man. It really
yeah,
made me a fucking man. It made me see a lot of things. You know, it let me see vulnerabilities in people,
yeah,
vulnerabilities in women in comedy. What we do in the beginning that we think back that I shouldn't have fucking slept on her.
right,
All those things.
yeah,
This thing has been a journey for me.
yeah,
And I want to explain the journey to people as best as like, but I ain't got enough time.
yeah,
This journey has been tremendous.
yeah,
28 years has been tremendous. You know, I told we were driving back last night from Fresno, and Miss You came on, the Rolling Stones, and I told George Perez, who I was working with, this came out of the set when I was in the 8th grade.
yeah,
This was the song of the summer of the 8th grade in 1978. When I think that in 2020,
yeah,
I've been driving home from the theater in Fresno. I
right, yeah, yeah,
Also, You Believe came on. Don't you want me, baby?
right,
And I was like, 82, that I'd be in a fucking doing stand. I had no idea.
yeah,
This is why this is shocking to me. And obviously, neither did you.
yeah,
And obviously, in a way, neither did Lee.
yeah,
Like, we started out, we wanted to be a fucking editor. We went to school to be an editor. You went to major in theater.
yeah,
What were your plans really to get? Move to New York and do
to do theater,
fucking theater?
yeah,
Jesus.
yeah. I moved to New York. I was like, I'm gonna be a theater actor. That's what I want. And like I did I did a couple off Broadway plays, a bunch of off Broadway plays. I did some independent films, and I just like I look back at it now, I'm like that shit was ridiculous. I was like for the birds. I mean, once I did comedy, I've never been obsessed with anything like this in my life.
Did you fall in love with it?
Yeah,
Was it like a heroin?
100%. I hid it from my family.
How many years did you do comedy before you quit drinking?
I quit drinking before I started comedy. Thank God. Yeah,
Knock on wood.
yeah, thank God.
Okay, so no.
Because I wouldn't have been able to fucking quit if I was doing comedy. I don't think. I genuinely don't think.
How do you go to meetings and stuff?
Yeah,
Do you?
yeah. I go to the meetings. Yeah.
So when you walk into a bar, any problem, you see a fucking.
It's been so long now. It's like when I go to meetings, it's really more for just so I don't act like an asshole. Like when I see a drink, I don't want to drink. I forget other people are drinking. I don't it's not like a part of my radar, you know? So it doesn't bother me at all. It's just not part of my life anymore.
So you did all these, you've done 6 years of comedy in New York, and now you're out here, we'll chuck this show right here. What else?
I'm starting a podcast. The teaser drops tomorrow, January 20th, and it's called Devil's Advocate with Rosebud Baker, and it's basically like interviews with other comics about what's funny about like the worst things that happen to us, because I always find my humor's a little dark, or people say it's dark. I don't see it that way, but people say it's dark, and but I think the dark things are funny, and I think they're part of what make us funny. So it's really kind of answering that question, you know, and then at the end of every episode we give a bunch of bad advice to listeners.
Bad
advice. There's one thing that annoys me about the internet now is everyone's a fucking pro. Everyone's a life coach, you know? And it's like, who the fuck wanted what you've got? Like, who said they want what you have?
It's crazy.
You know?
Prove you have what you say you have.
Yeah, like I look at these people, I'm like, if you think that you're like in a position to tell other people what to do, you're fucking delusional.
Check that follow just for that.
Yeah.
Follow probably 20 people.
Just because you hate them?
No, they're just delusional.
Yeah, yeah.
I want to
They make you laugh.
They make me laugh, plus I don't want to do what they're doing.
Yeah.
I know whatever the fuck they're doing is completely wrong. So I don't
You're
want
like, thank you for being an example to me.
Thank you for being an example.
Of the wrong things.
You really do for the wrong things.
Yeah.
Why would I fucking
Well, do you run into that, Joey? What's that? You're very positive online, and I don't put you in that category, but there are people who are like, oh, you got to hustle today, and it kind of it just rubs me the wrong way. You for whatever reason, you found a way to do it without rubbing people the wrong way.
Because I explained it, because first of all, when I write those things in the morning, that's exactly what I'm thinking.
Yeah, it feels like you're almost talking to yourself.
I am a fucking, and I do it. Number one, I'm very lazy. By nature.
Me too.
I would stay on that couch all day.
Yeah.
My dream job, like, if I could stay on the couch and not get fat.
Yeah.
And eat like
everything.
Tom and Jerry's, New York Superfly chunk.
Yeah.
Cola in it, like watch like old Hollywoods.
Yeah.
And I would just go through a series. The type of guy that would just go, The Sopranos, Sons of Anarchy.
Oh my God. Yeah.
The Sopranos.
I've watched The Sopranos 5 fucking times.
I'm one of those assholes.
Yeah.
It's around and around and around.
Yeah.
I have things that I can eat Chinese food every day.
Yeah.
A certain restaurant in New York, I can do that.
I do mozzarella sticks like a motherfucker.
I'm one of those people that do the same shit over and over and over in a controlled setting.
Yeah.
And be very happy if I don't have to spread myself.
Right.
My mother died at the end
How old?
at 16. So
Oh wow.
I do a pity party like everybody else does.
Yeah.
It was around they put drugs for that.
Yeah.
We had drugs. That pity party lasts forever. And it
Yeah.
really takes you down.
Yeah.
It's really bad.
Dude, my sister died when I was 17.
Very sad.
So it was like, yeah, you start to,
It's a pity party.
yeah.
It's a fucking pity party.
Yeah.
And we create our own pity party. And it's actually like, it gets to the point where like, hey, I get to the Rosebud. Rosebud lost his sister. You start working back.
Yeah. Yeah.
I saw myself doing that. You know what? Here it is, plain and simple. So your fucking mother died.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry she died. The world is sorry. But at the same time,
Right.
this is not going to work. This is not acceptable.
Yeah.
You sit there, because this is what I'll do. In my mind, I'll sit there and cry. I'm a
Yeah.
crier.
Yeah.
I won't tear up. I'll watch TV.
Yeah.
When I was 18 and 19 and 27, then I got locked up and I came out, I was 30. There was things nobody wants to do.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
I don't want to do it, but then you have to force yourself to do it.
Yeah, you learn how to, I feel like when you go through death at a young age, there's something about it that makes you, it teaches you how to parent yourself. Because you grow so much so fast, like within a day. Like you got the day before, your sister's there, your mom's there. The next day, they're gone. You're 10 years older, like right away.
Well, let you appreciate the day more. Makes you be a better person to people because you don't know if that's the last time you're going to see it again.
Right.
When I see somebody,
I can't say that I'm a better person to people, but I try to be.
You know, it gave me all those insecurities of, but it also, I'm sick and tired of hearing excuses, Jack.
Yeah.
And I'm the type of guy, before your excuse comes out, I'll tell you why you're wrong.
Yeah.
And what, I want you to understand how fucking fortunate you are.
Right.
It's like that comment that says to you, fuck, I'm going to audition tomorrow. We're 11:30, but I'm going to go to 1 o'clock spot at the comedy. What's the hot club in New York?
The cellar.
The Cellar.
Yeah.
You want to smack that guy.
Right.
I'm going to audition at 11.
It's like, oh, is your crown too heavy?
Guess who said that to themselves a bunch of times?
Yeah. Yeah, same.
I got a 1 o'clock at the fucking store, which means 1:30, and then I gotta get up at 11 and be prepared for an audition. What the fuck?
Yeah.
Tell me, what the fuck? You're doing spots at the
Yeah.
World world famous comedy store, okay?
Yeah.
There are people that'll cut a finger off. They're
Right.
comics that'll cut a finger off. There are women that will suck your dick that do a spot at the comedy store at 1 in the morning.
Yeah.
What are you crying about? And I think that was just the store. I'm just talking for comedy. But
Right.
for my life, I would have to like beat myself up in the morning. Like when I was 21, I had a job at a hardware store delivering plumbing supplies.
Yeah.
At 7:30 in the morning, the things I would have to tell myself in the shower
Right.
would be frightening for
Yeah.
me to get motivated.
Yeah.
It wasn't nothing nice.
No, it's
It
like
wasn't
you just hate yourself into action
yeah,
in a
you
way.
hate yourself just the fucking
Yeah.
like you don't want it, nobody gonna give you a fuck.
Right.
Your mother's dead. You
Yeah.
got dick. You got dick to the ass. Now get up,
Right.
do something about it. You'll take that dick out of your ass.
I had
Oh, that's how I have to. That's how you.
Yeah, I thought about it. I was like, I remember I was in therapy and I was like bitching about my childhood, and my therapist said to me, he's like, hey, childhood was a game, and you lost. That's it. You don't get to play again. You're an adult now. That's it. Just go on. And I remember hearing him say that fucking changed my life. Like, I think about that all the time when I hear adults talk about, and like, it's funny, like, if we look at the reasons why we do things now and like how they correlate to our childhood, as long as we're not blaming our childhood, because I think you gotta kind of understand why those experiences shaped you, but you can't use them as an excuse.
Absolutely.
Like, it's not, you're a fucking adult. This is a new game. You got to start over. You didn't beat the boss, but you were given a new level anyway, so just fucking take it. Like, see what you're gonna do with this one.
I think that when we become comics, we really have to realize when you become a real comic, you to do what we do. I assume the wiring isn't right somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Not that we're going to kill somebody or strap a bomb on ourselves.
No.
Somewhere along the line, like comics have told me there's 2 million doctors, there's 150,000 comedians.
Right.
Nobody drives up to an open mic in a Bentley.
Yeah. Right.
It's something that somewhere along the line you just, and I see the drop off rate. You see the,
Yeah.
I've been here 22 years, 23, February 19th. I can't tell you how many stars I've seen come down.
Yeah.
Stars. There was a comedy star,
Right.
economist selling real estate. They moved back. This is not
Yeah, and they're happier.
I'm happy with what I'm doing because this is slinging coke in New York.
Yeah. Yeah.
Those are my two options. I wasn't going to
Right.
that was never going to happen.
Yeah.
I have a night job.
Yeah.
I didn't want to work in a bar. I didn't want to get out of I was no tough guy. I didn't want to be a door guy and get beat up. That's it.
Yeah.
Being a door guy is like being a woman that marches and gets you nowhere.
Right.
Gets you nowhere. You can march till you hate it.
You get a hat out of it.
Right, yeah. Right, yeah. We're back. We're back. Oh, we got it.
Yeah.
That's why I have heard. We're black, we're back, yeah, whatever. It's always something. It's always something. We're gay, we want to get paid. Something. It's always a bench.
Yeah.
So you've been doing comedy 6 years now.
Yeah.
Things start popping.
About a year and a half ago, things started. Yeah. Well, I did this documentary that Amazon Prime Amazon Video produced. It was called Inside Jokes, and it was about comics trying to get into JFL. So there were like 6 of us. We were all auditioning, and it went.
Greetings from Podcastville. The Church of What's Happening Now is brought to you, and we'd love to introduce Stance Socks. That old pack of white gym socks your mom used to buy at the grocery store is now a thing of the past. Stance has changed the game. They brought art and good design to what used to be a boring old white, stinky, dead sock. Now when you show your ankle, you're also showing off what makes you special. Whatever you're into, they got it. Star Wars socks, Harley Davidson socks. They even have Grateful Dead inspired socks. They got little ankle socks. It's not just cool colors and patterns. Stance is everything from running socks, ankle socks, hiking socks, and premium socks that you can wear at the office. Do me a favor right now, the church family. Stance has a great offer. Go to stance.com right now /church, CHURCH, and you'll get a free pair of socks with any purchase. That's right, a free pair of Stance socks with any purchase. That's stance.com /church, and you get your free pair of socks. This offer is only available for a limited time, so get your socks now at stance.com /church, because if they're not Stance, they're just a pair of socks. The church is also brought to you by 23andMe. Listen, it's time. We're living in an incredible time. You know me. I'm an only child. I lost my parents when I was pretty young, so I didn't get the chance to ask them any of the questions about their health, their parents, or what kind of genes I'm dealing with. But with 23andMe, I just spit in the tube, bang, and I found out a ton about myself. And the people were like, hey, bro, listen, I think it's a great experience. I found out I'm like the American Indian. I'm not really a seven. I gotta be like a Tiano Indian, one of those Indians. I got a little bit of African blood in me. Like my parents come from Spain, that type of stuff. 23andMe reports do not diagnose diseases or describe the overall likelihood of developing any disease. 23andMe tests selected genetic variants only. Visit 23andMe.com /church, that's CHURCH, for important test information and order your health and ancestry kit today at 23andMe.com /church. That's 23andMe.com /church, and you can meet your genes in 125 plus personalized genetic report. That's .com /church. Find out who you are. Lee, kick this motherfucker. Everybody did how to do that. There was at one point in the mid 70s, or late 70s, 77, 78, the Kings did it with Superman. I want to be like Superman. The Stones did it with some girls, and the other one they did, the DA with Maggie Dixon.
Yeah, Kiss was on the fence. Kiss was like,
you had to put a beat out and just dance. Yeah, something that you could dance to. And I can just imagine going into Kiss, people like those bands and saying that, like, your number one hit has to have something that they can play.
they actually thought the future of rock and roll was going to be infused with lots of disco. So Kiss, Paul Stanley, they made a decision, because after that was 1978, and in '79 they put out Dynasty, which had I Was Made for Loving You, Sure Enough Something, very disco. Yeah, and then they had that whole album after that was super disco as well, Kiss Unmasked. So they thought that the trend was, they thought they had to make a move, it was a calculated move, we got to go more disco than rock. We got to get, while everyone else was getting heavier, because in '78 Van Halen busted out, they weren't trying to do disco, and then Ozzy came out with Wizard of Oz, and some bands went heavier, some bands chose to go more disco, and Kiss chose disco for a bit, and they went south, and just completely turned into like a joke.
I have not seen this about 3 weeks ago. I got home. You know, when you come home from the comedy store, you bag animals, grapefruit, fucking pills,
All that shit from Speed,
all that shit.
absolute extracts.
Yeah. Okay. So sometimes you have that bottled water in the car. Since I'm on Ronocaine, I'm popping shit, right? I'm popping whatever they gave me. Pills, edibles, I'm at home. By the time I get over in dry land, which is once you hit Ventura, that That's when it starts getting little tangles and shit. I'm all right, I'm recording there. If it hits me too quick, I just stop the Yum Yum Donuts and we gotta brand them up and calm that fucking sap down. Couple nights ago, put on If This Is Love by Van Halen. It's gonna say live from Seattle. When MTV first came out, this was one of the first videos in their rotation. I don't remember. Me and my wife were just talking.
Great song.
And I just picked on the second side of Main Street.
Won't Unchained. Fair One.
Fair Warning, one of my all-time favorites.
No.
Yeah, Oakland. Seattle, Oakland, whatever.
Is he singing with the bottom of Jack Daniels?
It is. Like when you watch this, you go, you know what? This was the best Van Halen ever was. I mean, I know they made a lot more money with Sammy Hagar and the albums of Sammy Hagar. If you ever have a chance, put on Van Halen, So This Is Love, from wherever the fuck.
612-81, Oakland Close.
81. This was actually a video that was on MTV every hour on the hour.
Oh, dude, me and Joe Rogan met him at the Comedy Store, dude, like 2006 or something like that. And all he wanted to do was talk about like chicks, the chicks he got on the road, and he just couldn't stop talking about the good old times. He said that he would give his roadies backstage passes, like a stack of them, and they would put their initials on them. And their goal was to go out and find the hottest chicks in the crowd, give them the passes, and if he ended up having sex with them, and he'll give $200 to whose initial was on that pass. Isn't that brilliant? For someone who's single, you know what I mean? It's brilliant. Who doesn't want to go backstage? You know, he said some of them with their boyfriend. Okay, so we had it. Yeah, so they're like, I'm just going to go backstage just to say hi for a little bit, just for a little bit. And he said he would see the boyfriends just like waiting for him up in the stands.
Brian, they just fucking spent their milk money on the tickets and the girls backstage. Just blown. Because in those days, there's no compensation. He just blown. He makes Harvey Weinstein look like a fucking preacher.
Yeah.
That guy, he just takes his dick out. It's on the bus. They suck it. They give him a kiss. There was no pictures of those days.
Can you imagine?
There was no proof.
Can you imagine all the BGs that would come out of like David Lee Roth ran for like government official?
It's really interesting that you said that when Twisted Sister began really SARS was called when they were talking. It was what you think of it. You know, I liked it. I enjoyed it. I told everybody it was a goof, but I enjoyed it. At least I enjoyed it because they're only going to get better. These stories are only going to get better. Yeah, they're going to make it better, better, better. They're fucking phenomenal. But he goes, you know, which means crazy if Me Too movement. He goes, this was reality. Yeah, that music industry all those years, they were beyond Me Too. Yeah, there's no conversation, there's no pictures. There's no nothing. It's your word against me and my fucking roadies. Yeah, I went back there, they raped with the thumb. They went back there with your titties out. You know, it's fucking crazy. Those girls don't even, they didn't even raise their hands in the 70s. They didn't even raise their hands. Not that I was a part of it or I saw it, but I heard it. We've all heard it from different people. They talked about Pauly Shaw. Pauly Shaw used to get his dick sucked like nothing. You know, Pauly Shaw in 1990, when he came to your town, Warlock.
Warlock was his
From the
nickname.
store, yeah, great guy.
Oh, Warlock from the store. Okay.
Warlock was the guy with the passes.
Okay, that was his part.
Great blonde.
I saw his face out.
Yeah,
Like one of the names.
it takes a certain type of animal. Yeah, to go up the river. I'm going to help you with that. And you're Mr. Rothschild. Would you like to go back there and say hello? No cameras allowed. We were phone outside. Yeah, it takes a certain animal to go in there. And it takes a certain woman to think she's going to go in there. I mean, in a perfect world, you're going to go in there. They don't want nothing from you. But it's not a perfect world. picture around. There was an episode of Law and Order last week where a van was huge and they went down over the years. They were playing like bars now.
Yeah, most bands.
But the guy was the pyrotech guy. Made the pyros too strong and lit the bar on fire and 11 people died. The chick that stuck up for him was a groupie. She said, I couldn't have been in because I was in a van. Giving him a hand to all the other people like, no, you weren't. You were standing next to us. But that was just, and they even said, this usually happens here. He goes, it happens all the time. What is somebody thinking that they'll just go into somebody's toolbox, suck their dick and walk?
Well, I mean, isn't it like a point of pride? Like, there's a comic that I see every once in a while. There's a story about, I forget which one it was, but one of them, and like to her, it's like a point of pride. I mean, I think that's sort of the difference with Harvey Weinstein doing anything. They were the biggest musicians. They're like,
No,
you get to suck my dick.
Jimmy Page is there. You're going back to the sucker's dick. He's not going to give you guitar lessons.
Put you on an album.
I'll put you on an album. You know, there was no nothing. You were going back to the beat of the band.
Yeah, pretty hard to meet two rock stars. That's a hard one.
That was a hard one in those days. Even now to come out and go 30 years ago. What happened 30 years ago? What happened? Who's going to remember? Were there drugs involved? No. They were joking. You know, that's what you're thinking. God knows what you were doing. You know, there's so many fucking angles. That's why it's so hard to uphold a rape case. Even if it's technical. It's so hard to get the conviction because they destroy the woman on the witness stand. You don't want to go to bed. It's a fucking nightmare. But if you what are you going to say? In 1979, you want to see Ted Aerosmith and Steven Tyler fuck you in the ass against your will. Where are you going to go with that? Where are you going to go with that? Yeah. First of all, you're 60. The DNA has left your ass 4 times over. That load he shot in your ass, that DNA, I'm wrong there. DNA stays there forever. But you know what I'm saying? I think. I don't fucking know. I have no idea. You know, she goes on 23 of me. That'd be great.
Hey, you know what? Shit ain't like that no more though. Because I went to see Korn and I was backstage and there's everyone's wives there with their kids. They let their kids on stage. Like Korn's playing and their kids are running on stage. And backstage it's nothing like you would imagine. You think like, oh shit, they're partying and there's all these chicks and everyone's getting naked. Not at all. Complete opposite.
Well, listen, he went into Alice in Chains today. There's no booze.
Yeah.
There's Canada's right, ginger ale. Everybody's taking pictures. They're talking about tomorrow to go play golf.
Yeah.
What happens? What do you think it was like when Soundgarden and Alice in Chains dressing room in 1994?
That's a little different.
You have any idea what Alice in Chains fucking dressing room was like? You didn't go in there to micro smoke. You know what I'm saying? None of the micro smoke was vape pen.
What were they doing? Like, they were doing heroin before the show, you think? Is it possible? Ever on stage on their own?
There's a maintenance. You become a junkie.
You know what?
Junkies that have to go to work in the morning. They have a maintenance. Their eyes get pinned, but they don't
They can still function.
They can still function. At times, you'll see their eyes going, but at least it's like when I smoke dope before. I don't smoke dope to get started. I smoke dope just to wake me up with my coffee, get the day going.
Little hit. Oh shit. Okay.
I get the wind going.
As soon as you wake up?
No, I'm not that much of that.
What time do you usually smoke work?
All right, first time. Let's say I get up at 7. When I walk out and make a cup of coffee, and pee, make a cup of coffee, and then my body got attacked. Okay, so I can't do nothing. So I got to sit next to her, watching some bad fun. Just got off the fun.
What is she like?
She's been into the Descendants.
Don't know what that is.
1, 2, and 3. She with the purple hair, the other blue hair.
Is it a movie?
It's a movie. It's a sit there and stab your neck. The same Descendants. Like the other day, she tricked me. She was, Daddy, you want to watch Descendants too? I go, all right, it's a change. Pick it out and
Put your little headset on, your little earplug.
yeah, I sit
Do
there,
a podcast.
I sit next to her. She's great. You gotta give them the attention they deserve. And after 10 minutes, I go, didn't I see this last night? It's just bad TV. So,
Hey, you know, Toy Story, the latest one, 4.
oh, brilliant.
Toy Story 4 was great.
Lion King, brilliant. I took 2 edibles, put the 3D glasses on. The Lion King,
You know how good Toy Story 4 was? Right in the middle of Toy Story 4. We were at the theater at the art, like, going, oh dear. A lot of people were running out of the theater. We went into the exit, you know, the door threshold and exit. We were waiting there. And dude, it was going for like a minute. And then when it was over, I wanted to see the fucking ending. So I asked Draco and my wife, like, you guys want to stay? Because I'm down. Like, okay, so we went back and watched the rest of the fucking movie. It was so good.
So I get out, I talk. Once I start talking, I'm all right. When I got on the computer, I see email, let's get your day.
What time is this? 8, 9?
So now we gotta be talking about 7:45. So 45 minutes after I get up, I go to my back. I open the door, this is the yard.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take a shit. And I think buckets when I shit. So the car pushes out the shit without fucking trying. And nobody dies of a fucking stroke here.
You always cough when you smoke?
No, but when you go, the shit flies out of your ass.
Okay,
No
I didn't know
friction.
that.
I don't think they enjoy that. You know, I bet different things every week. I got a different adventure every week. So yeah, when you hit that bomb head, it's a fucking bomb head. At 7:45 in the morning, what is that? You just go, like you're smoking a cigarette. At first, you feel that first 6 inches just come out. It's like a baby's head. It comes out of the snatch, and just the head snacks there for a little while. And then I pack another ball with 6 inches out. And when I hit that second one, you just feel it coming out.
Wait, just hanging? You leave it hanging?
Oh yeah, he's an acrobat. He's a battle. He's like Lisa Lay. I pushed the rest out in the second quarter. I won it. And I fucking done. I already lost a pound. Now I don't drink any more coffee. I start drinking cold water now to get my body going. That's it. And then once I take a shower and eat breakfast and stuff, depending where I'm going, I'll do a few bomb hits before I come in here.
But you just had the bomb hits.
So you gotta have another one.
Damn.
I can't walk on one leg.
You're a gangster, man. I don't smoke as much. I like to time off.
I can't smoke the weed I used to anymore because I have mercy. Yeah, I gotta pay more attention to places I go to. Yeah. You can't go in there smelling like fucking Johnny LaPampa, like you walked out of a fucking head shop. You know, you gotta be a little fucking decent. So if I gotta go somewhere where I'm gonna be there for a while, I just pop 2 edibles. I'll pop 2 fucking edibles.
I can't do any edibles, man. I'm a big listener.
No,
There's so much shit going on in my life, you know, that my main focus in life is peace. I just want peace and harmony. I don't want any bullshit in my life. So I avoid bullshit, man, like the plague. I don't want to deal with anything. I just want peace, quiet. I want to be with my family, teach jujitsu. I do comedy just purely for fun. I sprinkle that in my life as long as it doesn't affect anything. I put it in, and I'm good. I don't need anything else.
what new conspiracy theorist we have to discuss today?
Oh man, you know what?
You gave me the flat earth, you gave me the Jimmy Hancock throwing his wife off the balcony.
No, that wasn't me. I mean,
No, I didn't believe you.
that must have been Sam.
It could have been Sam. Throwing Jimmy Hancock's girlfriend off the balcony.
I'm just really entertained by following DC. What's going on? I'm super entertained by it. That's my real. That's Game of Thrones turns on when you find out what the real Game of Thrones is like. Shit, it's fucking fascinating. I'm down with every day. I spend 2 hours catching up on what has happened that day. because you're getting from 90% of what you're getting from the mainstream media is bullshit.
So where do you read this stuff?
You gotta, well, it's by process of elimination. You know, like 90% of the mainstream media is not the truth. So you know, if you're searching for the truth, I like the truth. I don't like being bullshit. I like knowing how they're trying to fuck with my brain. So by process of elimination, you know, okay, you just turn on CNN. You know, okay, it's all bullshit. So let's try to find the truth. It's not that. So there's a lot of independent media outlets. I like listening to X22 Report, SGT Report. Those two right there, they'll give you the good shit. True Reporting, all on YouTube, all great stuff. X22, that's the best. That's like when those shootings happened last week. They weren't, you know, the people that are following what's going on were expecting it. They're like, oh man, they need something to clog up the news cycles because a lot of shit is going down right now with the D class. Man, people are going down with between the D class and Epstein, powerful people. So anytime something like that happens, it wouldn't surprise me if you know, those shootings were there was more people involved than what we were told, because there were multiple witnesses saying there were multiple shooters, and that's pretty common in these cases. Like multiple shooters, like people are like they're saying there was 2 or 3 shooters. They keep saying that, but the official story, what you're getting on the mainstream news, is that there was one shooter, crazy dude, you know, trying to blame it on Trump. Dude in Dayton, Ohio, was a leftist. He was all about Elizabeth Warren. They're keeping quiet about that because, you know, everybody wants Trump out. They're trying to bury him. Why are they trying to bury him? Why is 90% of the bullshit mainstream media trying to bury him? What's really going on? And then you look into it. That's the fascinating. It's like, why are they trying to bury Trump? You know, they try to pin him. Like CNN trying to pin him. They try to turn all Mexicans against Donald Trump by Donald Trump was talking about MS-13 and was saying they're animals, they're criminals, we got to get them out. So then CNN goes, look what Trump's saying about Mexicans. So they cut out the MS-13 part. So they're animals, they're criminals, and we got to get them out. What is that telling you? What is that? They're trying to frame them. And then look what happened with Russian collusion. You know what's going down? The D class is about not only wasn't and isn't Trump a Russian spy, they try to frame him with that. That's what the D class, that's what they're trying to bury. That's where they're clogging the news cycles. It wouldn't surprise me if there was, you know, like they take a schizophrenic, paranoid, crazy kid and fill him up with all this crazy shit that they need to do. Drag him to a certain place, put a gun in his hand, and then have professionals do a bunch of shooting. Professionals get the fuck out of the way, and they got their patsy. That wouldn't shock. Stuff like that wouldn't shock. You know, there's you know, William Cooper wrote the book Behold the Pale Horse, and he was worked for the Office of Navy Intelligence. And he figured out, he's a whistleblower, he figured out a lot of shit. He wrote like that book, and he wrote this. This is 1991, he wrote this. The government encouraged the manufacture and importation of military firearms for criminals to use. This is intended to foster a feeling of insecurity which would lead the American people to voluntarily disarm themselves by passing laws against firearms, using drugs and hypnosis on mental patients in a process called Orion. The CIA inoculated the desire in these people to open fire on schools and thus inflame the anti-gun lobby. This plan is well underway and so far is working perfectly. The middle class is begging the government to do away with the Second Amendment. Wrote that in 1991. That's what they do. They get some crazy kid, fill them up with all this propaganda. Anybody they want to blame it. They want to blame it on Castro. They take a crazy guy, make him like a Castro fanatic. get him all crazy. They can't trust him to kill anybody because he's just crazy. Who knows what he's going to do? They just have to put him in the scene of the crime. They get some professionals, shoot up the place. They're all saying multiple shooters. Witnesses are saying there was multiple shooters who dressed in black. They look like professionals. San Bernardino, same thing. That's what people are saying. I don't know, that's what the witnesses are saying, people that were there. So it wouldn't shock me if those shootings, they did happen. People died. People got their lives ripped apart, destroyed. But wouldn't you want to find out like, who exactly did it? If you found out one of you, like your mom got murdered, and then the cops told you it was Joe. But then other people kept telling you it was Lee. Wouldn't you want to find out? Wouldn't you want to find out how it really went down? Instead of going, don't you say the cops said it was you? Don't disrespect me like that. The cops said it. So is it? You know what I mean? But people get angry when you're saying, dude, what the official story is saying. Man, there's witnesses saying there was multiple shooters. Don't you want to know how it really went down?
240-something shootings. No. Something's not right. Something's not right.
Look at all those shootings. They all happen right at a time where people are going down. Some people are going to testify. All of them. There's a list. But this is supposed to happen. This person is supposed to testify. This person's supposed to really that much about passing gun control laws. It's not really about that. It's about arguing about that. Taking up your time. Everyone has a certain amount of time to look into shit. So if they make, it seems like they're, it seems like they sloppy on purpose. So all the conspiracy theorists can talk about it, spend a lot of time making podcasts about it. Listen, that's what they want. It's like, talk about it. Yeah, sure they want gun control. And sure, they're going to piggyback on top of that. While we're at it, we might as well add a couple more gun control laws or whatever. But it's not about that. It's about clogging up the news cycle. Think about the shit that's going down right now. The proof that Trump got framed for workshop is coming out. That's coming out. And people are getting busted. They're going down for it. Boom. Shootings happen to them. Clogs up the news cycles. Everyone's talking about gun control, gun rights, and while we're on gun rights, there's nobody that can convince me that it makes sense for me to give up my guns that I have in my house just in case that alarm goes off and someone breaks in. Me and my wife got plans. We've got the plan. We talk about it. If that alarm goes off, someone's fucking getting shot, right? So some crazy kid hopped up on pills, goes shoots up a mall. Does it make sense that I give up my guns because he did that? That does not make any sense that I have to give up my guns because there's some crazy people out there shooting people. I need my guns even more now. So there's no way anybody will ever convince me that it makes sense for me to give up my guns because some crazy kid shot up a mall. Like, it makes zero sense. How does that make any sense? That doesn't make any sense.
How would you start? I mean, obviously, all the gun violence on these fucking rifles, these high-powered rifles with fucking automatic clips, 250 fucking rounds and all this shit. How do we start to chip away at this?
If I had a bazooka, we wouldn't have to worry about it. It's like, 80,000 people, 90,000 people a year die from car accidents. How come we're not trying to get rid of cars? And what about the 800,000 kids that go missing every year? No one gives a shit. What about that? What about all the kids, all the kids that are getting raped on Epstein Island? Where's your hashtag #MeToo right now? Why is it only hashtag #MeToo if it's some fucking out of work aging actress who said that some fucking producer? Let's Me Too that. But what about all these kids? 800,000. That's an FBI statistic. 800,000 to 1 million kids go missing. And then sure people go, they'll fight them. They don't want to go. But most of those are like the dad stealing the kids away and the divorce and all that. I'm like, okay. 800,000, let's just say 750,000 are those cases, are like, domestic dispute, they steal the kid, whatever. It was 20,000 kids a year to get kidnapped, and nobody gives a fuck. No one's doing that shit. No one cares. You know what? If you tell them, I bet if you told, I talked about this on Sam's podcast too. I bet if I told you, I gives a shit about kids. So shut the fuck up about your fucking gun logic and all that shit. You ain't no logic. You're worried about machine guns? You worried about machine guns? Come on, man. If you're worried about machine guns, then I need a machine gun. You're trying to take away machine guns? Shit, that means you need machine guns. Why are you trying to take away machine guns?
When I'm in the car running a red light, and I know we have a lot of fucking accidents, car accidents. Kids, I don't know what the fuck's going on with kids. I don't know who takes them. And they go to Mexico. I don't fucking know. What I do know is that I gotta look on the exit sign now when I see the movie. If I go to a garlic festival, I gotta look around fences and shit to see what's going on with my wife and kid. The same way you do. Because when you watch this shit, now we can't go to Walmart. We have a guy in Dayton shot people at 1 in the morning at night, bar hopping. This concerns me to the point where, whatever the fuck it is, something has to be done.
What about Chicago? Chicago gets that every weekend. No one's doing shit like that.
Chicago, Puerto Rico. Listen, it's what we're trying to figure out here is out of control.
But what if they are being set up by some nefarious group?
I think that with the Chicago thing is fucking street thieves. Some guy gets shot with a 22, some guy's in a bar or something like that. What concerns me is people in Vegas to see 9-inch nails with daddy.
Do you believe that the ban machine guns doesn't happen?
No. I think that it just creates higher demand and people will pay more.
I believe it's not going to change shit.
I don't know where it would start. I don't know. I don't know. Look at every day we look. Oh my God. Last night I had a little Burbank for something.
No, it started
at 7:30. And I made a right on this fucking street, right by the Nissan place on fucking Lankershire. Oh, that McDonald's on the corner, and that fucking side of the weeds down to a homeless tent. That whole street is filled with homeless people. So on my ride down, you pass CVS, the black haircut place, and I'm sitting there going, when do you start with the homeless people? When we start with the guns, I don't know if taking away the machine guns gonna stop shooting. What I'm fucking telling you.
You know where we started? You want to know where we started? You know where we started? By not ignoring the fact that witnesses said there were multiple shooters and get to the bottom of that. Maybe we'll find answers to how it really started.
So in El Paso, there's witnesses.
Multiple shooters. And many of these shootings, there's witnesses saying there was multiple shooters. The one in Parkland, there's a teacher. The teacher saying, I opened the door, and then I saw 20 feet away from the killer. He was in armor, had helmet. He looked like a SWAT member shooting. She says this. Like, wait a minute. It was a kid that did it. He wasn't some big-ass dude in SWAT gear. Not that the SWAT team did it. I meant like gear, like, he had like body armor, and a helmet, and a fucking gun. We need to get to the bottom of that instead of ignoring that. Like, why are we ignoring that? That's the problem. Why are we ignoring all the mental pills and the crazy pills that all these kids run? Why are we ignoring that?
I'm gonna tell you something. And if you remember, this kid from El Paso, the kid from the Garlic Festival, and the kid that shot the movie theater during Batman or whatever the fuck. You remember that fucking police mugshots? I mean, it looked like they were high on something.
Yeah.
Like fucking God, right?
Yeah.
You know, they're saying that this kid no passport ain't saying much. That he's just sitting there kind of like in shock. You know, that he doesn't know what happened.
The dude from the Colorado shooting, movie there, the Batman.
Right, that one.
That guy,
Yeah, remember his picture? He was all fucked
but they ignore that. They ignore the pharmaceutical side of it. You know, they ignore that.
But so who
They want to go out like, maybe that'll make a difference. If you attack that, taking away guns, even if it make a difference.
but is it the government behind it, or is it like
That's the question. That's the question. That's what we need to look into. What is going on?
it's like
Why are coincidentally the shootings happening when big shit is about to pop? We need to look into that. Like a detective would look into that. Not a detective would just say, okay, case solved, it's over.
What was happening in Vegas with them?
There was a big trial going on.
And he's got all this shit in his phone.
so like here's my question for you guys, because I'm a little bit more on the liberal side with guns. I've never had guns. Like, I don't really want one, but I spent 6 months in Israel, where at every mall, every McDonald's, everything, they have army with metal detectors. Because we probably can't get rid of guns, but do you think people would be okay with that, with having metal detectors and having retired army people everywhere? Like
October 2nd, 2017, the Benghazi mastermind Abu Khatala goes on trial. That same night, the Las Vegas massacre happened. I don't know, maybe it was a coincidence. I mean, I can go on. There's a whole list of all the shootings and what happened. Like, I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's not true. There's like the Vegas shooting. There's a lot of like weird shit about that. No one's talking about it anymore. It's gone. It's gone. Let go. Why? And all the people who died. Why they let that go?
58 people.
Why they let that go? Why they bury that?
And like I said, I'm not here trivializing it or making fun of it.
I'm just saying we got to look into
I want to know.
what really went down. Who was really behind
I want to
the
know
killing?
what really went down and how to stop this. You have a child. I have a child. Someday, please, when you have a child. People who listen to the show have a child.
Yeah.
And the last thing we need is to be in a movie theater and ice skating rink. And one of these retards pulls up there.
I mean, is it smart to? I mean, we all want a solution. Would one of the steps to the solution be like, let's find out what really happened? Why are people saying there were multiple shooters that looked like they were dressed like body armor? That's some pretty important shit right there. That's important shit. Those multiple shooters. It's pretty important.
well, wouldn't Walmart have cameras?
Exactly. Let's see that.
Out there?
Let's see that. Let's see that.
Do you think they'll release it? Do they usually release that type of stuff?
Did they release any of the footage from? You think Mandalay Bay has any cameras?
Yeah, they should. In the room though?
You don't need the cameras in the room to figure out what the fuck is going on. Except for the rooms, there's cameras everywhere, right? Like, wouldn't you be able to see like dudes like lugging all that shit? None of that got released, right? Maybe it's illegal to release it. There's gangster shit going on, man. There's gangster shit going on. Didn't know it. They're covered up and buried. I wouldn't know what. Scary shit. Scary shit.
I just wanted to stop. I just want. Yesterday in New York, a motorcycle backfired on Times Square. People ran like it was Godzilla. People ran down the street like there was a fucking Godzilla. I tell you what happened to me yesterday. I'm minding my own business. I go to the office. I show them my license. Go in, they wave me. I talk to the lady. She takes my blood pressure. I sit down. The lady comes back. She goes, it's going to be about 10, 20 minutes. We're running behind. I go, all right, no worries. I got nowhere to be. Next thing you know, fucking alarm goes off. Me being the savage that I am, I just get up. I don't really even want to get up because I know it's probably bullshit. And they come on, and there's a fire in the building. Everybody's got to leave. Go when I peek, I saw people. Because this shit gets into your psyche now. Stuff gets into your psyche. And now you can't live normally. You cannot. You walk around. There's people who are, those people who watch the news every night and believe every word to them. And I'm not putting those people down. They really don't know a life outside that news. You know, I'm not saying I'm a 5-meter cat or I'm smarter than anybody else. But when I watch Eyewitness News, they go, tornado, 75 million in danger. You know, so they show Iowa, they show corn farms. How's nobody standing up there?
Right.
How are they in danger? You know, ABC, they use big words. Uproar about blah, blah, blah. Uproar. I talked to 200 people today. Nobody's mentioned that. So it's like they're selling you a bill of goods. That's not even. Has nothing to do.
They gotta keep you afraid. They gotta keep your fear level high. Otherwise, why would you do that?
I really want to look into shark attacks every year. How many fucking shark attacks happen every year? The last 2 weeks, they talk about a shark attack every day. It's what hand they show you. They have 10 fingers, but every day they show you the same 3 fucking fingers.
Well, I mean, to me, it's the same thing as like, so comedy clubs. They're essentially bars. Some of them are care if they put on a good show, but most of them they only care if they get people there so they can sell drinks. That's their business. TV news, they sell advertising. They just want you to watch. They don't. I mean, that's kind of why I guess maybe the YouTube thing would be a good place to go, because even newspapers, they sell advertising. It's not. They don't really care what the news is. All they care is if they sell advertising.
That's one way of looking at it. Another way of looking at it is, radio, newspapers, TV, since day one of their inception, the purpose, the internet, the purpose of the internet was to program you and surveil everybody easier. From day one, that's the whole purpose. The whole purpose of radio wasn't like, oh, I wish we could figure out a way to transport music through the airwaves and entertain people. We really need to entertain people. No, it's like how people are running countries, empires. All they're concerned about is keeping their power and controlling the masses' minds, because the masses have the power. They knew the truth. They have the power. So it's all about controlling minds. So radio was like, ooh, this is going to be a great way to control their minds. And then TV, oh, we got a better way to control their minds. And then the internet, they've been working on the internet for a long time. It was a way, it's not for entertainment, it's a way to control our minds. Because if they can't control our minds, they have no power. So that's what it's all about. We are living in a fucking dream. All this shit that we grew up with. Think about like a movie like Jaws. I will not go in the goddamn ocean because of Jaws. You know what that does to you? You watch Jaws, it gets fucking people afraid of the goddamn water. You know what? I'm so goddamn afraid of sharks that I want my son to watch Jaws so he doesn't do stupid shit like deep sea diving. You know what I mean? I don't want him to go in the ocean. I'll be scared to fucking death for him, So I'm gonna sit him down and make him watch Jaws and scare the fuck out of him. You know what I mean? I'm gonna use that shit on him. That's some CIA shit. We don't live in this world that has been. You think, but technology. We are. What are you talking about? We could have had free electricity through the air 100 years ago. That's what Tesla was doing, and they shut him down. He died. And it was insane. Once they figured out that he was like, wait a minute, power's gonna be free? No. Think about the one thing that hasn't changed. Those fucking sockets on your wall. That shit's been the same since you were a kid. Since the 40s. That shit ain't never changed. They're never gonna get past that, because the next step past that leads to free electricity. We can't have that, so we're gonna stay with that fucking plug in the wall. Tesla already had it figured out. Westinghouse invested in him. They were gonna do it. Then they pulled the plug on him. No pun. So we're like, what about cars? Cars look exactly the fucking same as they did in the fucking 50s Yeah, the body's a little different. Still rubber tires, still engine in the same spot. Engine's better, but it's still the same. You see pictures of like 1940 or whatever, like it's the same shit. Street lights, curbs, streets, cars, same shit. Houses, these houses from 1930. Technology, the only thing we got that's advanced is our phones, and that's designed to surveil us. This is something they know exactly where I am. They said, "Oh, we can find Joey Diaz. He's right here, and we know exactly what he's thinking and what he's doing, what he's looking at. We have all his shit." Everyone afraid of the RFD chip or whatever that thing is. Like, dude, that's a distraction. They ain't trying to chip nobody. They're trying to get you scared of the chip. So you don't even notice this is your chip, dude. This is your chip. RFD chip. That can't do this. Does everything. You can look at it and see your face every day. And here's what you say. Every word you say, it hears. We're walking around with it. That's why it's advanced, because this is where the technology needs to be. It's our fucking phones. So they have tabs on this. But everything else, cars, same fucking thing. When I was a kid, cars were like, 32 gallons a mile. That's pretty badass. Guess what? Today it's still 32 gallons a mile. You'd think it'd be like 150 gallons a mile. Or miles to the gallon. Sorry, 150 miles. It's still 35 mpg. The cars still cost the same. Gas is not that much more expensive. When I was a kid, it was like $1.50, $2. It's like $4, $3.50 now. Gas ain't going up like regular inflation. Cars are the exact same. Cars ain't, they're a little faster. 0 to 60, fucking, 2.3 or whatever. It ain't that good. The technology is slow as fuck. The only thing that's advanced is our fucking phones. That's it, dude. You look around, it's the same shit. We're still going around in fucking rubber tires, cars, doors open the same fucking way, still plugging into walls. We're still plugging our shit into walls.
So like, with technology, the one I hear a lot is Facebook is like part of the government. Like,
that's totally true. All like Google, Facebook, Twitter, all of that shit. It's all Silicon Valley. It was all designed to surveil you. All of it. All of it is it's not for entertainment. They can lose billions of dollars. Google, billions. YouTube is. You think they give a fuck? They can care less. That's us surveilling ourselves for them. That's all that is. That's not. No one's even disputing that. No one's disputing that Google and Twitter and that. Why do you think they're all going after Trump? They're going after Trump because they're all on the same side.
Yes. I'm thinking about doing something to leave my legacy in the world. So when I go online, I look up AK-47s. If they're surveilling so much, why don't we get on a jump? It's like, I love when they say.
Zach, that's a good question.
I love when they say, "Hey, we thwarted an event in Michigan of another terror attack by some Arabs." Well, let me tell you something. I don't know if you know this. Arabs only talk to Arabs. Okay, then I'm going to see what you know to me. You're a Jew, you're a white people. And it was half fucking Navajo Indians. Whatever the fuck they want to tell you, you know what I'm saying? But, what I don't get is, like, when they say that they thwart it, you know what they do? They hire a fucking Arab out of town. And they can go into a mosque. And that's exactly what they do. And what it is what's that word when I set you up? There's a word for that, entrapment.
yeah.
They're all entrapment. It's all entrapment. It's not legal, but it saves lives.
It's common sense,
But it's trap.
mob mentality. Really think about it. Like let's say we're in another dimension and you're running a country, but you're about to be indicted for some serious shit, and your life is gonna be fucking over. It's treason shit, like the worst shit, right? So when someone says, I think if we clog the news cycles with with some shit, I think that could help. What would you say? Would you say that was a good idea or not?
Great idea.
That's a great idea. Okay, so how do you do it? That's a good idea. Clog the news cycles. And then I said, I got a suggestion. We need something super devastating to clog the news cycles. It's got to be super devastating. Right? Do you agree with that? Okay, you agree. Okay, so now what's super devastating? Killing criminals or killing kids? Kids. You can't just like say, oh, a bunch of criminals will kill them, right? It's kind of, the worst would be something that would clog the news cycles would be devastating. Tugging at the hearts of everyone, killing kids, right? CIA whistleblowers have said this. So when they go to other countries and they're trying to overthrow a country, they blow up schools because they know people are going to fucking go. They blow up school buses. That's what CIA whistleblowers have said to John Stockwell. You can watch him on YouTube. He wrote books about it. Because they go through the worst shit that cause the most damage to people. So there's like maximum public outrage, right? It's a good idea. I'm trying to save you. You're about to go down, dude. You're going to get the death penalty. So for you, like, we want to clog the news cycles. You agree that that's a good idea. And then you agree that killing children is probably the best way, right? Mass shooting with children involved, right? Yes or no? Sure. Yes or no? Yes? Okay. All right. So how do we do that? How do we do that? If I said, what if I suggested, let's get some fucking crazy kid. I'll pop. We go through our database and we look for the crazy kids that have like a record of being schizophrenic, right? Good idea or no?
And poster child being Lee Harvey Oswald.
Yeah, good idea or no? So far, good ideas. If I say bad idea, I'll think of another idea. I'm trying to save your life, right? Good idea. All right, so we find a kid, we find him, we got a bunch of kids, we got 2 or 3. And do we, like you have an adversary, guy is trying to take you down, political enemy. Wouldn't it be a good idea if we made this kid a big fan of that motherfucker? Because he's going to go down for murder, right? Wouldn't it be good if we just like, good idea or bad idea, to make him a soldier for your enemy? Good idea or bad idea? Good idea. Good idea. Good idea. Good idea. It's a great idea, right? Or would it be a better idea if I made him a fan of yours? No, that's a bad idea. Bad idea. It's gonna make you look bad. This guy murders all these children, families, innocent people, and he's a fan of yours. No. That's a bad idea, right? Bad idea. Right. Bad idea. It's a good idea to make a fan of you, but whatever, right? So how do we do that? We have my suggestion is we just get like a dude on him, like a handler, and we groom him. We get him all into his crazy schizophrenic, and then we get on his social media and we start posting positive shit about your enemy. And he's all down for your enemy. He's down to kill for your enemy. Good idea? He's gonna kill for your enemy, right? Oh fuck yeah, perfect, right? Or bad idea? Bad idea or good idea?
It sounds, but then this past weekend they had both sides.
No, this is a fantasy.
Oh, okay.
It's a fantasy.
So yeah,
Good idea, right? Good idea, right? So, but this guy's fucking crazy. How are we gonna get him to the mall to shoot people? How are we gonna do it? What if he shows up and he just drops the gun and flips out? He's crazy. What do we do?
I don't fucking know. That'll be what we're gonna do.
Here's my idea. We get some fucking mob professional hitmen to go in there, spray some shit, so for sure people get killed. Because if we give him a gun, he ain't getting halfway through the parking lot, he might freak out. So we got to get him. We walk him into the mall. This is just an idea. We get professionals to spray, get the fuck out, and then we throw him in. Cops come, grab him. Good idea or bad idea?
good idea.
And you think I just made that up? Like you think no one else has made that up? I just made that up.
How do people live with them?
This is a fantasy world,
Right, but like, let's say
I'm not saying that that's what happened. I'm just saying if you had to clog up the news cycles to save your ass, wouldn't that be a good idea?
it'd be a good idea, but I'm just saying, like, and maybe there's people who can do it, but how do, like, if it's CIA or whoever it is, if they're the ones killing kids, how are they, like, not killing themselves?
Do you believe that there's hired assassins who don't give a fuck who they
They'll
kill?
kill kids?
They'll kill anyone. Is there people like that? People like that? Maybe people like that don't exist. if there's people like that that exist, they're hired killers, hired assassins. They get paid $1 million, whatever, 500,000, whatever. If there's people like that that exist, do you think they need work? Yeah, they need work. And who would they need work from? Like shady ass individuals, like maybe the mob, maybe. The mob got it, man. They'll kill anybody. They don't give a shit. There's ice cold killers out there. They'll kill anybody for money, right? So the idea is you have a whole list of those motherfuckers. You run in a country, you have a fucking list of 40 of those motherfuckers that you need to go out. If you need someone gone, you have guys that just say, you know, just like John Wick or some shit. You know what I mean? Maybe they don't exist. I'm talking about this is a fantasy world. This is a fantasy world. If you had to clog up the news cycles to bury some shit coming out on you,
What will we bury this weekend by a cop?
there's a lot of stuff.
No pass on date.
I'm not saying, I'm just saying that it was just a coincidence. Like, this is what I'm saying. If my mom got killed or my wife and son got killed, I would want to know how the fuck it really went down. If the cop, if the first official story said this is the guy who killed him, I would say, okay, fuck that guy. That's, you know, killed my fucking family. But if other people are saying, dude, there was multiple motherfuckers, I wouldn't be mad at them for saying there was multiple motherfuckers, and they want to really get down to who really. I would say, like, let's fuck, I'm with you. Let's fucking find out who really killed my son. You know what I mean? I would be like, you, how dare you say that? That's so disrespectful. Like, no, thank you. Thank you. There was multiple shooters. Are you sure? Let's look into it. Let's look into it. Not like you're mad. It's too soon. You can't say that. What the cops said it was one guy. They said the news said it was one guy. Why are you saying it was? Witnesses said there was multiple shooters. I would want to know if my family was killed. I would want to know what the fuck is up with the multiple shooters.
What will they cover up for this week?
A lot of D class going down. A lot of D class. A lot of people going down for framing Trump and the Russian collusion scandal. It's all coming down text message. That's what the D class. Why is the D class? They frame Trump, and that's treasonous, and that's death penalty. You find out all the players involved. Scary as Game of Thrones shit. Heads will roll. That's why they're doing this crazy ass shit. In my opinion.
How's jiu-jitsu going?
It's going great. It's going great. I got killers all over the world. Speaking of murder, you know.
What is the next EBI?
My next show is Combat Jiu-Jitsu Worlds. Not this Sunday, but next Sunday, August 18th in Long Beach. You can get your tickets at inchbyinch.tv. It's the middleweight world championship, combat jiu-jitsu. It's gangster jiu-jitsu, the most gangster form of jiu-jitsu there is. Jiu-jitsu, no gi jiu-jitsu, Savoni jiu-jitsu with palm strikes, head and body on the ground. When you're on the ground, you can wail on each other.
You get knocked out?
Hell yeah.
What about EBI?
EBI, it will be back end of 2020 or 2021. It's coming back. My first mission was Combat Jiu-Jitsu Worlds. Well, EBI was Plan B. I wanted to establish a league of combat jiu-jitsu. I couldn't get the rules I needed or the rules I wanted past the commission because they didn't know what it was. They just didn't understand it. They wanted it in a cage and three-minute rounds. I wanted it outside of a cage and 1 10-minute round. They just didn't know. They just didn't give it to me the way I wanted it. So I just said, fuck it. I'll just bypass the commission and just do sub only. So that's where EBI came. So EBI was like, because I couldn't get combat jiu-jitsu off the ground. And then after about, I don't know, it was like 9 or 10 EBIs, I went back to the commission. I asked them again, I go, can I do combat jiu-jitsu the way I wanted to, a couple years ago when I approached you guys? And they were so cool. They say, yes, let's do it. Just do it. I go, I want to do it not in a cage. I wanted to do it just like, because Combat Jiu-Jitsu Worlds is EBI. It's exactly like EBI with palm strikes. There's everything's the same. 16-man tournament, just like EBI. 10-minute regulation rounds, just like EBI. All submissions allowed, just like EBI. Overtime, EBIOT, exactly like EBI. Exact same overtime, exact same regulation, exact same format, 16-man bracket. It's exactly the same as EBI, except there's palm strikes added, so it's more gangster. It's a big step towards realism. It's like closer to MMA than ever before. It's on its way to MMA, which means it's more realistic than jiu-jitsu without strikes. So it is EBI with the turbo charge.
Great thing with the jiu-jitsu world.
Thank you.
You listen to John Jack on the road.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Oh, dude. Are you
What's
kidding?
he talking about that fucking
Dude, he was talking about how they used to do combat jiu-jitsu back in the 80s and 70s and 80s in Brazil. Because that's what we used to do. We used to, after we train with our gi for a couple hours, everybody would take off their gi top, and then we do jiu-jitsu with palm strikes. So combat jiu-jitsu is actually old school Brazilian jiu-jitsu, the way they used to do it back in the day. Rio de Janeiro, Carlson, Gracie, Jean-Jacques, they all did it. They called it taparia. That means, okay, it basically means combat jiu-jitsu. Jiu-jitsu with strikes. And so that, I'm basically bringing back old school jiu-jitsu training. More realistic, you know. There's a lot of things you can do, or a lot of things you can't do as well when there's strikes, when you're doing jiu-jitsu. So a lot of times, you know, there's, you know, I mean, Roger Gracie himself, the great Roger Gracie said 80% of jiu-jitsu was useless in MMA. He said that. That's a famous quote from Roger Gracie. He's talking about gi jiu-jitsu, of course. 80% of BJJ is useless in MMA. Roger Gracie. You know what I mean? To me, that's a problem. To me, that's a problem with the martial art. Like, I don't want my jiu-jitsu to be 80% useless in a real fight. You know, and MMA is about as close to a real fight as you can get. You know, so there's a problem there. So what I've always worked on is trying to fix that problem. Trying to make your jiu-jitsu training as close and as close to MMA as possible and as realistic as you can possibly get without actually doing brain damage. You know what I mean? So that's why the 10th Planet Jiu-Jitsu style is clinch-based, very clinchy-based, very no space. We don't want space. We want clinch, and you know, to and first and foremost, defend yourself from being knocked out. You know, if you clench on someone, it's very hard to get knocked out. You know, just like in boxing, you know, when a guy's getting hurt, what does he do? He just clenches. The ref's got to declench him. The clenching is a safety technique, and most of my jiu-jitsu is based on clenching, staying safe and moving, squeezing, clenching, smashing, crushing, squashing, squeezing,
sucking, fucking, drinking, eating, grow dicks, hair on it.
Yeah.
Where's your next dates?
This Friday, I'll be at Comedy, me and Centrally. XG will be in Indianapolis this Friday, and then Saturday we'll be in St. Louis for a 420 show. So we're doing an afternoon show. We did an afternoon show in Tacoma, and to be honest, I didn't know if it was going to turn out. Like, man, this could be a disaster. Saturday afternoon show at 420, and it was sold out. Like, holy shit, let's try a couple more of these motherfuckers and see what happens, you know? That way you can just get out of like get the fuck home after. So, yeah, so, and then we got Bakersfield coming up. If you go on my Instagram, at Eddie Bravo, 10P, 10P, I got all my dates up there. Just click on one of those comedy flyers. And got Bakersfield coming up, San Francisco coming up, Portland. The Improv, the 23rd, Friday the 23rd, me, Tony Hinchcliffe, and Sam Tripper doing Improv. It's about it.
You're a bad motherfucker, bro. That means it's time out.
Thank you, man.
Take your time. We'll get that Steve next time. What's going on with that?
Nah, no one cares about that, dude. Fuck that.
They all care.
No one cares. Nobody cares about
They
that
all
shit.
care because they were all over there jumping up and down. And that motherfuckers.
Those puppies, hopefully they find puppies and people will fucking, yeah.
People care. They got video. He ain't going on the night softly. Exactly that fucking connected night softly. God, in Atlantic City, it's gone too. Then I got September 13th, Friday the 13th. There's still tickets available in Dallas, motherfucking Texas, at the Majestic Theater. San Antonio's gone, and then there's still tickets available for the end of the month at a great show at the Chicago Theater in the beautiful motherfucking city of Chicago. What's my boy's name in Chicago? Josh Pacini, Planet Chicago. He'll pick me up and take me from my fucking hot, like his family's cousin. Good place. So I'm excited about the next 2 months.
And one more thing, I got, most people don't know that I produce music as well. So you can go on YouTube and listen to, if you're interested in my music. It's called, my album's called Mix Flink of Death and Devotion. It's for free. It's on YouTube. There's about 15 songs on it, all with music videos cut from my favorite movies. So it's, go check it out.
I listen to this sort. Sorry, you bad motherfuckers. I want to thank my man Eddie Bravo. I want to thank the Christ Killer. But most importantly, I want to thank you fucking savages for always having my back, always supporting the show, and always fucking understanding what we're trying to do here. First, a word from our sponsors. 23andMe. Listen, we're living in an incredible time. You know me. Like I said in the beginning of the show, I'm an only child. I didn't know nothing about nothing. But with 23andMe, I spit the tube and bang. I found out a ton about myself and the people I came from. DNA testing can tell you a lot. Where your ancestors were from and how much Neanderthal blood you got running through your veins. But did you know that you could also learn about your health? With 23andMe Health and Ancestry Service, you can learn how your genes affect your health. Get access to 125 personalized health reports. Find out if you're predisposed to type 2 diabetes, blood clot, or high cholesterol. DNA doesn't lie. And ladies, you can also find out if you have the BRCA gene, which can lead to breast cancer. That's a big one. The sooner you know, the sooner you can do something about it. So do me a favor. 23andMe reports do not diagnose diseases or prescribe likelihood of developing a disease. 23andMe tests selected genetic variants only. 23andMe.com right now. So visit them and put in /church for important test information. And order your health and ancestry kit today at 23andMe.com/church, and you can meet your genes in 125 plus personalized genetic reports. That's number 23andMe.com/church. Find out who you are. Go to 23andMe.com/church. The church is also brought to you by, and we'd love to welcome Stan Socks. Listen, now when you show a little ankle, you're showing off what makes you special. See, whatever you're into, they got the design. Whether it's Star Wars socks, Harley Davidson socks, they even have Grateful Dead inspired socks. Every football team, baseball team, and basketball team, they got that too. It's not just cool colors and patterns. Stance has everything. From running socks, ankle socks, hiking socks, and premium socks you can wear at the office. Plus, Stance socks are incredibly comfortable. I got them on right now, and I'll tell you what, they're supportive. They're the most supportive socks I've ever owned in my life. That's why Stance socks are the official socks of Major League Baseball. And those guys are on their feet, 160 games. So you do the math. And they give back. Their Socks for Heroes program sends socks to deployed military personnel all around the world. I got my icon socks myself. And for my wife, and I got a cute little ankle socks like she likes. And even got the Flying Jew, some nice blue socks that say good vibes on them. So they remind them what's important in life. All right. Long story short, Stance makes it great. Right now, just for the church family, Stance has a great offer. Besides, I got you in New England.
Thank you.
They just come pretty soon. Go to stance.com/church and you'll get a free stance.com/church. CHURCH. This offer is only available for a limited time. So get your socks now at stance.com/church. Because if they're not stands, they're just socks. So do me a favor, throw those old white gym socks that smell like 10 dead, I don't know what, cats away. And go to stance.com/church. I want to thank Stance. I want to thank 23andMe, but most importantly, I want to thank you savages for always having our back. It's plain and simple. I'll see you this weekend, Dallas, at the, Dallas, what the fuck am I saying? I'll see you at the Lincoln Theater Friday night, and I'll see you at the motherfucking Borgata. I'm only doing one show, so there's a meet and greet, there's no misunderstandings. I can go walking, people get pissed off. I love you motherfuckers. I'll see you Monday, tip-top, motherfucking Magoo, ready to go. Shoot the fucking dog. Let's do this shit. I love you guys. Have a great weekend. Again, the church sends their prayers and hearts out to the families and they and El Paso. All right, kick this motherfucking beautifully.
The money argument, the ways in which money was handled in front of me, they gave me this sense that I need to step my game up because I don't ever want to be in a place where money.
Greetings, ball sniffers. This podcast is brought to you by I Hate My Boss, the newest podcast from Wondery. Need workplace advice?
Distractions and people trying to sell us something at every turn. And the more we give into these distractions, the less productive and the more unhappy we become. And so, Seth Godin, he's
Go listen to I Hate My Boss and subscribe to it wherever you listen to this podcast. This podcast is also brought to you by Nature Box. What do you want when you want a snack? But all you can find is junk food. Rely on your self-control to resist the temptation. Please, you eat that junk food. Start snacking healthy with Nature Box. Right now, Nature Box is offering our family 50% off your first order when you go to naturebox.com. Also, the days are back. It's time to wash that muffler. Go to hellotushy.com right now and get 10% off your portable bidet. Never again will your asshole stink like 10 dead fucking savages. You understand me? Hit it, Leo.
Barely 100 years old, and even then, it was in its infancy 100 years ago, right? So retirement as a norm is only now kind of a thing. But think about how long we've lived as humans, not having to think in terms of decades like that, and building up money for more decades without being able to spend that money down. Well, it's no wonder it's so food on the well. It's not a surprise that our brains have trouble. Your reality, albeit a fortunate reality, right? We live longer. We live in a world of indoor farming, and you just get to.
What's happening, you bad motherfuckers? Uncle Joey here. Monday night. We have a special guest tonight, my brother, Mr. Joe Rogan. We're going to talk about this fucking United thing.
Holla. Joey and I were talking about how bad flying was this weekend in Buffalo. It was bad. Chris Buffer's flight got canceled because they didn't have a pilot. Everybody's on the plane. They're like, sorry, we don't have a pilot. Everybody has to get off. And then the flight was just canceled. No pilot. Our flight got canceled because the tires didn't have any air in them. And they had to fly tires there. We're supposed to leave at 8:30 in the morning. Didn't wind up leaving until we took off. We hopped on a JetBlue to New York and then caught a flight from New York. We were supposed to fly in Chicago, and they changed from 8:30 in the morning. They kept moving it up and up because I get notifications on my phone, and they moved it up to 4:30 p.m. and it didn't even take off then. It took off sometime after 5 p.m.
It was hard. I don't know. I don't blame it on no fucking snowstorm. They were slipping. How the fuck don't they have a tire? How the fuck doesn't your pilot show up? How the fuck does it, it's just too many coincidences.
Buffalo's just not an airport. There's just not a lot of people flying in there. They're not prepared. They're not equipped.
I went to Vermont a couple of years ago, and they just canceled the flight the night before. There was no weather. I don't think they had enough people flying out of Burlington, Vermont the next day.
That's probably exactly what it was. Yeah. So we're going to watch this thing on United, where a passenger apparently had a ticket, was in a seat, and they wanted to get a crew member on.
It was like 3 or 4 crew members. They had to get people off the flight.
Shit. So people who had tickets, who paid for tickets, were going somewhere, and they told this guy, they just randomly picked people. They told this guy, you got to get up. He didn't want to get up, so they dragged him off. Check this out. It's gonna piss you off. And imagine this is you.
United has been slipping anyway.
So you're right. Come on. United has overbooked the flight. They randomly selected people to kick off so their standby crew could have a seat.
Let's see if we can find a better version of it.
There's a few of them. A man was chosen at random who refused to leave his seat. Remind me and my husband never used United Airlines with the fly. The situation could have been handled better than that. These people are freaking out. And the more people find out about this over today and over the rest of the week, United's fucked. That's fucked. I just can't believe they did that. They forcibly removed them. Why do they think they could do that? Here's the statement. Pause that for a second. Flight 3411 from Chicago to Louisville was overbooked. After our team looked for volunteers, one customer refused to leave the aircraft voluntarily. Okay, look at what they just said. After they looked for volunteers, one customer refused to leave the aircraft voluntarily. You look for volunteers. The guy's not a volunteer. That's not refusing to leave voluntarily. That's a nice way of saying you took a customer and you fucking assaulted them, and law enforcement was asked to come to the gate. Keep going, because you keep going. We'll pause it because their statement continues.
It's getting really bad.
See the rest of it. We apologize for the overbooked situation. No, there's more. Back, you went a little too far. No, that's it.
That's it.
Oh my God. That's it. We apologize for the overbooked situation. Further details on the removed customer should be directed to authorities. How about fuck you? I can't believe they would take a customer and just do that.
To get crew members too. It wasn't like they were trying to get like other customers. They had booked too many customers. From what I read, it was just they had to get crew members to whatever city that was.
Yeah, you can't do that. You can't do that. People should start boycotting them.
Let me tell you something. United has blown for years. I took them into Newark one time. No fucking TV. No fucking shitty food. First class was like fucking garbage into Newark. That's why I don't fly into Newark no more. I love whatever Virgin, but they can't get me back from Newark. So I'm gonna end up in Canada anyway.
Yeah.
So
Newark's not a good airport.
I don't like to bitch about it. Ari used to bitch about it constantly. Fuck Newark. You know what? My life's a lot easier than leaving when I land in JFK.
Yeah.
It really is. Worst case scenario, you go to fucking the Palms and get a steak and eggs.
Yeah.
Like a gentleman, a Bloody Mary, you sit at that thing. There's tons of entertainment in Canada.
Oh, yeah.
You get a massage, you get your feet rubbed. They got fucking everything in Canada. So I thought you flew out okay. It was horrible. No, I'm like you. I waited for 10 minutes. I had already booked 3 o'clock. But I got it at 7:41. I didn't trust it.
Yeah.
I went to Southwest was empty. Everybody was there. When I got there, was kids at the airport all going to fucking spring break. I went to United. They had nothing. I went to Delta. Delta was done. And I went to the other one, JetBlue, and JetBlue was done until tomorrow, until Sunday. Take chances.
Yeah.
So I left the hotel. I called. They were the plane going from LA, already in Chicago. Landed from this morning. It's already ready to go. It's on time. And the other one was on time. And you know what? Everything was moved. Knocked out. It took me 25 minutes up to 4 or 5 to get home on Saturday.
You have options in other places, but if you fly to a place like Buffalo, there's not a lot of options, So if you fly out of Bozeman, Montana, or something like that, good luck.
Listen, bro, I can't get a direct ticket from Milwaukee to Detroit. The flight is longer from Milwaukee to Detroit than what it is from fucking LAX to fucking Milwaukee. How the fuck did that happen? I gotta fly to Chicago.
It's a tough business. The business of selling airline tickets, flying people around, and you gotta make money.
Not really.
Well, you gotta think, who the fuck's flying in and out of Buffalo? So in order for them to have packed, what's there, right? Other than the UFC, you have a big event or a football game or something like that. If there's not that,
a lot of people connect to go to Canada. A lot of people fly to Buffalo. Those planes are always pretty fucking
the airport was empty.
Right, at 3 o'clock, the airport was completely empty when I walked in. Everybody flew out earlier. And I'll tell you what, when I landed at LAX, empty.
LAX was in?
Empty. I couldn't fucking believe it. I've never seen it like that. I was like, wait a second.
No one can get back in. Have you guys boycotted an airline? Like, it's weird. You can't. They have you over a barrel. You can get as mad as you want at them, but some airlines only fly certain places, and then the cheaper ones, you gotta fly them sometimes.
I bet a lot of people got boycott United after that.
Yeah, but until the next vacation, like how many? Like you guys fly a lot more than most people fly.
Yeah.
I think when most people fly, it's just wherever airline's cheapest.
Yeah, but if people have an option now, I think they're gonna choose.
My first choice is always American. I know where I'm going.
Yeah.
I know where I'm going. If I go to New York, I'm only going Delta or the other one. America's 6-ship boat.
Virgin's great, but they're going away. Virgin's not going to be around anymore.
Where they go?
They're merging with somebody.
Alaska. From some weird that like, I don't know why.
I took Alaska Airlines. That was the only direct flight at the Baltimore. Was Alaska fucking Airlines a red eye?
They do all right. Alaska does all right.
And they fly me to Portland from Burbank.
Yeah, they're good to Seattle too.
Really? Yeah. No, tremendous. Not bad. So that's the end of Virgin. I'm telling you. I'm telling you, the leader right now is that Mint. And I know you. I know the type of guy you are. Yeah, I know the type of guy you are. They got a door. And there's a latch right here that closes your door. So you go from the door goes like a Batman movie. It closes real fast. When they bring you the food, they press the latch and the door opens. And that's how she gives you the food, like Prisoner 44.
I don't even know what you're saying. I don't even know what it looks like.
I put the sleep apnea machine right here.
I think it's like a pod, like those international first class.
See if you can find that. JetBlue.
JetBlue.
I like Delta too, Kennedy. It's very nice. Very nice. They got the lay down bed and shit.
I'm getting real tired of flying.
I know.
I'd like to do a residency in Los Angeles. Everybody goes to Vegas to do a residency. How many fucking people are there in LA? You could sell out LA every weekend if you had a club. Like just a club.
Playa del Carmen. Down there, you know, there's a club down there right by the airport.
There's Playa del Carmen.
By our friend. That's where he has his Brendan has the office down there. Nice and clean down there, Joe Rogan.
That's a good spot, but anywhere down by the ocean takes forever to drive. That's what it looks like. The pot. Let me see this thing. Let's get close up. Ooh, that's nice. That's JetBlue.
Yeah, dog.
Is this a new thing?
Yeah.
How many of these they have?
They have. You can only go from here to Boston or here to JFK.
So the whole plane is filled with these things.
No, the front row. It's like 8 rows, but you get an even number, and you're by yourself.
So it's like essentially like first class. So they're doing first class.
There you go. That's by yourself. That's by yourself. You see that little box they give you? They give you a thing to cover your eyes. They give you a blanket. They give you a pillow. The bottled water is behind your left arm. You can't even fucking see it. You know, and it's got a stack. You can put your bottled water right in there. You got movies. I saw The Godfather 2 on the way there. That's the refrigerator in the cheap seats.
Refrigerator.
Yeah, you just get up and help your fucking self.
This is for everybody, yeah.
This is for everybody.
Yes.
That's so mid-flight, you don't gotta bother nobody. You get up, you get your fucking soda. These people are getting it. It's 2017.
Wow.
But those front rows, I'm telling you, dog, tremendous. I was blown the fuck away.
That's just like first class. And that goes to Kennedy?
Goes to Kennedy, but not from Burbank. Me and Boss were in that conversation. Because Boss was like, we gotta get on Mint. I go, Burbank, there's no Mint because it's a small airport.
Right.
So the bigger plane can't land on that.
Oh, is that what it is? Burbank?
Yeah.
Oh, that makes sense. That makes sense. I was wondering whether
And they don't land in Newark either.
nothing out of Burbank does?
Small flights, no, small flights. No, JetBlue doesn't fly into fucking Newark.
Oh. What do you want to fly in New York? Even if I landed, even if I work in New Jersey, I usually don't fly in New York. I fly in New York.
To Atlantic City.
Yes. When I did the UFC there, I did.
Right from here.
I think. I don't remember. It was long. I got it so long ago. I did the Borgata. Did you do the Borgata with me?
Yes.
It was fun.
Miletich.
It's one of the few places. Like the Borgata is one of the few places. And Henzo Gracie showed up too. Remember?
Yeah,
He was howling at your shit. That's right.
They were crazy.
I remember. Henzo Gracie's a fucking maniac. He thought, he was like the dirtier, the crazier you got, more it's like he was fucking flopping around in his seat laughing.
I always walk past past that place, I'm scared to walk it.
Tenzo's?
Yeah,
In New York?
there's some killers.
They are killers.
There's
They're
killers.
super nice guys.
It's a horror
She'll
show.
get tapped out, but they'll be nice to you.
Oh my God.
That's just how it goes.
Yeah, I'm scared of those New York schools. I always make plans. Yeah, I'm gonna go over there after the Norton show and show up.
Yeah.
Fuck you.
That's a great guy, though.
I get in that goddamn Uber and I shoot right back for that ferry, Jack.
Yeah.
I don't look back. Fuck you. They'll kill you.
Do you think you could ever live in Manhattan?
We had this discussion with somebody a few weeks ago, and they showed the rent of where I grew up on 88th Street. And they shit my pants.
Oh, it's insane.
The same place where I grew up now, I think it was, what was it, $7,000 for a one bedroom?
That's not even outrageous. Yeah. The money there is so crazy, it makes you wonder how anyone can afford to live there other than like really wealthy people.
If there's any city that gives me anxiety, it's New York City at night anymore.
Yeah.
I've gotten to the age that I've gotten very comfortable here. And when I go play the stand on Thursday nights, I stand on the corner before you go in. And I actually fucking can't take the cars anymore. Like the speed, that electricity, I'm not used to it anymore. Yeah, it fucks with me a little bit. So on Thursdays, I don't go into the city no more. I just wait till I go to the shows, and it's weird how when you're from that area, it takes you a couple days to acclimate. Like I was getting on the ferry and I was getting bullied on the ferry. You? Yeah, getting bullied. Straight up, people walk in front of me and shit. But I'm from LA. I don't need this aggravation. Plus on
These
Thursday.
days they were doing that?
Oh, they're fucking motherfuckers. The people that on the Jersey side and they work in New York, they think their shit don't stick, so they cut you off, and you overcome it because you're an adult and you don't give a fuck. By Saturday, some lady pregnant with a fucking thing was trying to cut me off, and I finally go, oh, relax. Like, you forget that you're a nice person. Like, you forget. People not opening up doors, like people pushing. You're like, you know what? I'm from a different civilization. Like people, you forget. And then you toughen up by Saturday, but then you leave on Sunday anyway. So what's the toughness for?
You know what I've been saying for a while? Because of what's going on in New York and what goes on the entire East Coast with the difference between the way people behave there versus out here is that they're still too close to the people that first landed there. Like the people that first landed there, like my grandparents and their families, they came from Europe, Italy, and Ireland, and everything like that. Those were barbarians. Those people were animals. I mean, you just think about life. Like you're talking about the Depression, right? This is all my grandparents came like when the Depression was going on. It was a hard world. People were tough and they were mean, and we got fucked with. And my grandfather used to tell me horror stories about getting bullied. They call him a king wop, and just mean shit and beating them up, and just everybody was mean. It was just hard today. Yeah,
that's how you have to look at
hard mean world.
If it was today, Trump would ban fucking travel to Italy.
Yeah, probably.
No, I saw that documentary, and it was the most interesting thing I ever saw. And it really taught me a lot about that culture I grew up around, because it always seemed very interesting to me. HBO did a 2-part special on Sinatra. In the first part, they discussed his childhood in Hoboken and how at that time the Irish were the oppressor. The oppressor. So the Guineas weren't allowed past 9th Street, which really fucked with them. Then stuff happened, and the Italians, grew, and then they got past 9th Street. But Sinatra always had that mentality of I was never allowed over 9th Street. You gotta watch it; it's fucking interesting. Plus, I understood the people I grew up with from North Bergen. See, Hoboken is moving on up to North Bergen. We got a house up in North Bergen. We got a front yard. You know what I'm saying? Like half the people I grew up with, they're roots on Hoboken. So when I watched that special, I was like, North Bergen was better. North Bergen was more residential. Hoboken was more, tenements and 3 floors, and North Bergen. Once they built North Bergen, a lot of people moved to North Bergen.
There used to be a club there. There used to be a club in Hoboken. What was it? It was a stand-up club there.
I don't remember. I was long gone, but they still do stand up there. Danny ALO has a room on Tuesday nights. They've been really trying, like over the years, to do stand up. That didn't benefit from the Hoboken Police Department.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, a long time ago.
I did the club there in like 91 or 92 or something like that. And they had pictures all over the wall the time Eddie Murphy stopped by. And so I remember like Eddie Murphy was here at one point in time. Like, they had like a photo and it said, like 1989 Eddie Murphy. It was like 3 years ago, and everybody's like, "Oh, remember that time 3 years ago? Eddie Murphy came down there."
Fuck, I didn't know there was a comedy club in Hoboken. When I started in Denver. When I went back, the big club was Rascals, and the other one, but there was also Main Street Showcase. It was. I saw Bill Bellamy on the plane one time, and I was talking to him about it. He goes, "Yeah, that was my roots, Main Street Showcase." Bill Bellamy, I forgot. Jane Moore, all those guys were from that part of New Jersey. And when Florentine came in here, him and Norton from South Jersey, Middle New Jersey, they moved to Northern New Jersey, got an apartment, and they were all Jersey guys. They're Jersey guys. I'm saying, don't take them seriously.
Yeah, right?
He was saying that was the thing seriously.
Yeah, Norton had that like about him.
You're not funny till you move to New York.
Yeah, isn't that funny? Like, you have to go to New York to be taken seriously. If you live in New Jersey, you're just a hack. Telling fart jokes and shit,
Those clubs in Jersey are brutal. I mean, Bananas is the club, the one that Fort brutal. And it's brutal. You do comedy on a ping pong table.
Did you do the one in Poughkeepsie?
I did the one in Poughkeepsie.
I did that one
a couple times. That's in a ballroom, Lee. Yeah. And it's next to a gas station. That's as good as it gets, dog. And they put you in the downstairs room. When I tell you, it's fucking freezing. It's fucking freezing. They got one diner in the lobby, and it's the worst food you've ever eaten in your life. Even if they give you the 30% off, you'd rather fucking starve to death. That's how bad that place is, and you're stuck up there for 2 fucking nights next to a gas station. That's it.
I worked up there with Tony V. Do you know Tony V?
Fuck yeah.
I worked up there with Tony V. I was the middle. He was the headliner. And some lady kept flashing the light while I was on stage. I was supposed to do 20, 25 minutes, something like that. And at 10 or 15, she's flashing the light. And I ignored it. I just did my set. I got off stage. And she goes, "Okay, I don't know if you know how we do it here, but you can't do that language at this club." And I remember saying, "What are you talking about?" I was laughing. I was already moved to New York. I was already getting work. I already had Sussman as a manager. I was like, "What?" And she was like, "You're gonna have to change your act to a crowd." I go, "No, I'm not." I go, "What are you, the manager here?" I go, "I got booked here. I got booked here by the owner of the club. I go to do my act. They know what my act is. I go, 'You don't like it? So you want me to change?" And she looked at me and she didn't expect that. And I just raised my eyebrows and I just walked away. And I just finished out the weekend. She never spoke a fucking word to me again. She didn't say hi. She didn't look at me.
Isn't that great when you have to fucking...
Once you
gotta drop a bomb on a motherfucker and she'll just look at you like, "What?"
She was talking to me like she was the manager at Wendy's and I was the fry boy. She was like, "I don't know if you know how this works here." She's like the lady that takes the tickets. You know the clubs are all in a hotel, Bananas was in a hotel, right?
Yeah, both of them.
So she just decided she didn't like my act, because I talked about sex. So she's just decided that I was going to have to change my act. And I'll never forget her face. I don't know if you know how we do it here, but you can't do that language here. Fuck.
Guys, let me tell you something.
It's amazing, those people.
I did the week one time. I was dumb enough to take a week because I was a coked out fucking savage at the Houston Little Club.
The Little Club?
The Little Club on the south side.
Oh, that's the one that Ralphie used to do.
Yes.
Yeah.
So they put you up in a hotel.
It's in the middle of nowhere, right? It's
out there. Yeah, somebody else took it over now. They sold it and somebody else took it over. That club was there for a long time. They got a different type of audience than was great. Let's just say it was completely different than the last stop. So I went there one Sunday night and the owner was there and I did my